welcome to this half-hour summer holiday Pilates class. So I'm going to start on the mat. I usually start standing, but today we're going to be seated and we want to be in a comfortable position. So you could be on the mat as long as you feel you can sit up nice and tall and that's not a strain on your back or your neck. You could use a yoga block to raise your hips, a cushion from the sofa, or something like this, like a bolster that I've got here. So I'm going to sit on this for a little bit. It might cut the top of my head off. However, it is a more comfortable position for me to be able to get my spine nice and tall. Legs can be whichever position is comfortable for you. I'm going to take cross-legged. And as you can see, I don't know if you noticed, but that means I can concentrate on the top half of my body and stack my spine. Imagine a little string attached to the crown of your head drawing up towards the ceiling. We want to bring our shoulders up towards our ears and then just let them slide down. So we're going to start with just getting our head and neck prepared. So with your breath, as you inhale, raising your shoulders, and exhale, lowering them down. Let's draw them up. Rotate here, use your shoulders to bring your palms to face forward, and then slide your shoulder blades down. So you want to think about lengthening across the front of your collarbone. Okay, thinking about our neck a little bit more. So we're going to bring chin down towards your collarbone. You can reach down through your fingertips, but you're looking for a little stretch in the back of your neck. Gently, and bring your head back up level. Allow one ear to drop towards your shoulder, and you could walk your opposite hand out a little ways, and maybe change position. You could reach behind a little bit, so you're feeling a nice wee stretch in the side of your neck, but again, not aggressive. Bring your head back up level. We'll do the other side. So keep the shoulders level. Let the head drop over to the side. You could reach out with that opposite hand. You could reach a little ways behind. Just explore that. Feel what feels good in your neck. And then look over towards one side. Nod your head down. And then again, just feeling your way through the different range of motion in your neck. A little half circle over to the other side, and then back again. So like I say, nothing aggressive in our neck, just easing into it, letting it move, and exploring your own range of motion. Let's take one shoulder, and we're going to give it a little circle. So just watch here that it is the shoulder you're moving and not just the elbow, but actually lifting forward, up, back and down, making a circle in that shoulder joint, warming up the fluid in the joint and loosening it off. Okay, I'm going to relax that arm down, and then this side, same thing. The only reason I'm bringing my hand up here is that if I have it down, I've got quite long arms and it kind of feels like it gets in the way when I'm seated, so when I'm sitting I prefer to do this. And then resting that shoulder down as well. Just see how the shoulders feel one side compared to the other. Okay, now we're going to reach up, and instead of just reaching from the hand, we're going to keep a little space here between the ear and the shoulder and reach up from the side of the body and over. You can place your other hand down on the floor, or just let the hand drift out and open up along the side of the body, and then back to upright. Other side. So imagine here that you're between two panes of glass, so just making sure that it is a side bend and that you're not just reaching over by twisting in your body. So nice open up side of the body and coming back to centre. We'll do that once more, either side. pushing up and over. Okay, we do a little bit of rotation in our torso, so we can take our hand across as if you're hugging a tree in front of you, but it's not just the arm that's going to cross, you're going to use your ribs to rotate around. When you've gone as far as you can, allow your head to turn on your neck. Think about taking your eyes around in the sockets as well. Little breath here, try and go a little further without overdoing it, and then relax, come back round to face forward. And then, sorry about the noises, I'm going to go the opposite way. So again, taking the arm forward, other hand can just gently go behind if you wish, letting the ribs rotate, allow your head to turn on your neck, take your eyes, make sure your jaw feels relaxed here, and then come back round, unwind and face forward. Okay, so we're going to do our corkscrews, which we usually do standing. I'm going to do them from a seated position, that's absolutely fine. Same thing, we're just going to float the arms up to about level with your shoulders, keep the shoulder blades melted down, and then exhale as you bring the arms back down. So I like to keep a soft bend in my elbows from doing this. Nice and light as we float up. Exhale as you bring the arms down back by your sides. So no effort as we float up the way, but imagine the air is really thick, like treacle as you come down. Couple more, going with your inhale and your exhale. Think about that string drawing crown of your head away from your tailbone. And once more. That's it. Oh, lovely. Okay. Give it a little shake, a little shimmy. Make sure you're not holding any tension in your body. Okay, so I'm going to change my seated position. Come down to the mat this time. As we take the bolster away. Making sure here that I can feel my sit bones in contact with the floor. And start with a nice tall spine. You can take your hands out in front of you. You can pop your hands under your legs. So we're going to be working on a little bit of spinal articulation here. So taking your chin lightly towards your collarbone. That's going to make sure that you keep the length of the back of your neck and you don't let your head travel too far behind. But before we go back the way, we want to get a nice C curve into your spine. So tilt your pelvis back, imagine a little wheel attached here, and then lower your lower back down towards the mat, coming back to a point where you feel a little challenge. Pause and inhale, and then exhale as we bring ourselves back up to seated. So you can do this with the hands underneath the legs. Same idea, tilt the pelvis back, slide the hands down, and then coming back up. Making sure here that we're not gripping too tight, we're not using the shoulders and the neck, but the movement is still being driven from the abdominal muscles. And again, tilting back, coming back. If you can, it's lower back behind your belly button to the floor, and if not, you're a little bit higher up. To come back up, exhale. Think about bringing your ribs towards your knees. You can do a few more of these partial roll backs, or you could go all the way down to the floor. So nice and controlled, lowering yourself down. If that's a struggle, then you might want to get a wee strap, dressing gown belt, something like that around your feet to help lower you down. You can float the hands up overhead if you wish, and then to come back up, bring the hands up, the head, shoulders, and come nice and smoothly back to that seated position. If that's a struggle, work on lowering down. Move a little bit here, so lowering down nice and controlled. And what you can do is come back up as far as you can, so it might just be to here. Then place your hands down, your elbow on the floor, use that to give you some assistance and come back up to seated. Making sure that we're not straining your neck at any point. Once more. Coming down. Pause and breathe in. Exhale, peeling the head, the shoulders off the mat and coming back up to seated. We can take a wee second here. Take the legs out in front and you're going to hinge here at the hips. Just come forward as if you've got a big beach ball in front of you and just lengthen through your back as you come forward. We're not curling over really though, we are reaching forward so that we lengthen through the back here and then bring yourself back to upright. Okay, we're also going to do a little seated twist whilst we're here. So taking ourselves one foot, bending that leg in, you can bring that foot flat to the floor, you could cross that leg over and we're just going to take the opposite hand to the knee, or if you wish you can bring that opposite elbow around and wrap around the knee, but you don't have to go too far off. The same hand as the leg that's bent is going to go behind you. Just this with that nice tall spine, and you're using your spine to turn towards your bent leg. So not really using the arms, they're just stabilising, we're not gripping on here. And again, have a little look over the shoulder if you can, and then come back round to the front. Let's do that the opposite direction. Same thing again, bending that knee, cross it over if you wish, you can keep it on the same side, hand behind, hand on the knee, and remember we're taking tall spine, rotating around, so it's the ribs that are turning and we're allowing our head to look over our back shoulder, and then coming back round to face forward and coming out with that twist. Okay, so we're going to come down to the mat. So again, lowering yourself down nice and safely, keeping the knees bent, feet on the floor, and lower yourself down either to one side or just down onto the mat. If you want to pop a little cushion underneath your head, you can. You could even give your mat a couple of folds here, or you can have your head on the floor, but just watch that you don't allow your head to tip back like this. So we want to keep some length here, chin down, looking towards the ceiling. Take a little second here to just feel your alignment. So nice natural curve in here at the back of the neck, shoulder blades. Let's turn the palms towards the ceiling. Allow the shoulders and the arms just to rest where it's comfortable, so that we think about the shoulder blades being nice and flat underneath the ribs. Upper back, this part of your back here, that wants to be down in contact with your mat. Coming down to your lower back, so you can see I can just slide my hand underneath my waist, so I'm not pushing down into the mat. Equally, there's not a big gap here, it's just a little curve. So a natural curve. You can think about tilting your pelvis back and forward, and then coming to settle back in that midway point, that neutral place. Knees and feet are more or less in line with my hip bones, and checking that my weight feels evenly spread through left and right. Okay, so thinking now about your breathing. So check where your breath is. So just for a few breaths, think about, where am I breathing? Inhale and exhale. Observe your breath without trying to change it, which is, I know, really hard. As soon as you say that, you then think about how you're breathing. So We don't want everything to be up here in the shoulders. We want to think about the diaphragm. So inhale into the sides, back of the rib cage, and exhale, allowing those ribs to contract. Inhale, full, soft breath. Exhale, again, nice long, full, soft exhale. And at the same time, think about bringing in your core muscles. Imagine those corset muscles that I talk about, lacing them up to support your spine. Visualize drawing your hip bones towards each other is a good way to get that deeper engagement in your lower abdominals. So taking a couple more breaths, finding your rhythm, and whatever you do, don't hold your breath. So on your next exhale, we're going to allow one knee just to fold out to the side. Nothing else is moving. Pause here, take a breath in, exhale, lace up those corset muscles and bring that knee back to where it started. Let's do the other side. So imagine a little string just drawing that knee out. Pause and take an inhale and then draw that knee back in. We'll do a couple more either side. What I want you to think about here is as this knee's going out, the opposite hip is staying nice and steady, as if it's glued onto the mat. Exhale, bring that leg back in. And again, this side. Opposite hip is not going to start to rock. We're going to keep it down on the mat. And we'll focus on moving on your exhale. One more either side, nice and slow, nice and controlled and precise. In tune with your breathing. It should feel like things are flowing with your breath. And the other side. Last one. Okay, so we're going to lift one knee up now. So you want to think about the knee being bent and just bringing it up so that it's above your hip. So not so far that you lift your bottom and curl under, and not so far away that you're straining and working to hold that leg at a strained angle. We want it to be directly over your hip. So, different choice here. We can do one leg and then lower that leg back down, single leg lift. Other leg, we're going to do the same, bringing it up to just over our hip and then lower that leg down. Either stay doing that for the next few moves, or you can bring one leg up, lace up your corset muscles as you bring the other leg up. Check here that you've not arched your back. You've kept that same neutral shape in your spine. And then we could do toe taps. So that's lowering one foot down to the floor and then bringing it back up and lowering the other one down. Nice and gently touching to the mat. And again, going in time with your breath. One foot down and then coming back up. Any strain at all in your middle, lower one foot to the floor and come back to doing that single leg so that you've got one foot down on the mat at all times. When you've done another one either side, then have a little rest. You could hug your knees in towards your chest, give it a little rock from side to side, or you could lengthen everything out, give yourself a little stretch there. When you're done, come back to 2 feet on the mat, knees bent, and again just check that you're back into that neutral place. Float your hands up overhead, and let's just do a few shoulder reaches today. So reaching up, bringing that shoulder up off the mat and then drawing it back down. Other side, reaching up towards the ceiling and then bringing it back down. And again, so we're really sort of just seeing how the shoulder feels the rotator cuff. Once more, either side, going with your breath. Pausing here. Let's do a little bit of arm movement. So as you exhale, take one hand overhead and the other hand down by your side. Keeping the shoulders nice and relaxed and keeping your upper back here down on the mat. Bring them both back to centre and then go the opposite direction. And back to the centre. Again, going with your breath, allowing your shoulders an opportunity to move in opposition to each other. Compare how one side feels compared to the other. If one feels a little bit sticky, then you may want to do an extra in that direction. Try and work out any imbalances. And back to the centre. Okay, we're going to bring the hands down. So, making sure that you feel you can place your feet firmly on the floor. We're going to do a little bit of bridging. So as we exhale, tilt your pelvis back, lace up your corset muscles and squeeze your bottom as you lift your hips up off the floor. So if you had a cushion here, you might want to take it out so that your neck can lengthen without anything stopping it and you're not pushing it into your neck. So we're staying on our shoulders. Watch for your rib cage flaring up here. We're going to keep it down and lift the hips. So there's a good bit of work getting done in the glutes and the legs as well as the abdomen. Coming back down, focus on your breathing. So a nice long, slow exhale, laying your spine back down, one vertebra at a time, as if it's a string of beads. So you may think that you're going to run out of breath if you're doing this nice and slowly. So just take another breath and then keep going. It's as simple as that. Coming right all the way down to your tailbone and then checking your back in neutral. Exhale, tilt your pelvis back. Peel your spine up. Squeeze your glutes, lift your hips. You don't need to come up to a full bridge. You can work on your lower back. You can stay a bit further down. It's up to you. Feel how your spine is, what you want to work on. So exhale, lowering down through your spine, one vertebra at a time. Any bits that feel particularly sticky, that lower back usually, working on that. And release and back to the floor. And we'll do another 3. So just squeeze your glutes, bring your bottom up, keep the hips nice and level and focusing really on working through your spine all the way down, nice and slow and controlled and precise. Remember that everything we're doing is like that. You could, if you wished, bring the hands into this. You could float the hands up towards the ceiling as you come to your bridge, and then as you lower down, allow the hands to float overhead. You don't have to. If you feel the bad in the hands, you lose the sense of what's going on in your spine. I would leave them out of it. But it can be quite nice just to feel that gentle pull from the rib cage as your hands are overhead. On your back on the floor, you can sweep them around, or if the furniture's in the way, you can bring them back this way. Okay, once more. So again, coming up into that bridge. Exhale, focus on that lowering down of your spine. Nice and controlled all the way down to the floor. And bring the hands back around when you're done. So, I'm going to finish off with just a little bit of work face down. So, most of what we've done there has been the front of the body. We're going to do a little bit for our back. So, lying face down on the mat. can, place your hands underneath your forehead or wherever's comfortable. You could use a cushion here so that you can keep your neck nice and long and looking down to the floor. Imagine an ice cube under your belly button, so you're drawing it towards your spine, and as you exhale, let's lift one leg, reaching nice and long towards the wall behind you, and then lowering down. Other side. So we want to keep the head down here so that we're not putting too much strain or compression into your back, and reaching nice and long through your leg. So we want to think about opening the hip joint, but front of the hip stays on the mat, and we're really reaching. So it's not about how high we go up, but looking to go nice and long. Going in tune with your breath. Exhale and inhale. And we're going to do one more either side. Okay, so we're going to take the hands either side of the head here, and this time floating your upper body, hovering it just an inch or so off the floor, and then lowering back down. Making sure that you relax your muscles here. Letting release is just as important as working them. So drawing belly button towards the spine, we're looking to engage the back muscles here to hold your head, your arms just off the floor, and then relax, let them soften back down. And again. So we're trying to not bring in the glutes and the legs here. We want them to be relaxed, so we're focusing on our back and then lowering back down to the floor. This time we're going to do a little spine extension. So having the hands either side of the head, lifting your head, lifting your chest. You might only want to come up to here, that's fine, or you could push into your hands and bring yourself a little higher. But make sure your shoulders stay relaxed down by, or not around your ears. And again. So listen to your spine, and you might not want to force this, so like I say, it's perfectly okay just to rest on the forearms, just open the chest and then lower back down. And even if you're only coming up a little bit, no strain or pain in your back or your neck. It is an invitation to move your body. We're not trying to torture it in any way. Okay, placing the hands under the shoulders. We're going to push back onto your knees, and then taking your bottom down towards your heels. Allow your body to fall forward here. So you might get your bottom onto your heels, it might still be in the air, it doesn't matter. You can have the hands under your head or overhead, depending on your shoulders. What you want to think about here is lengthening here through your back. We've just worked those muscles, so we just want to give them a chance to move in the opposite direction. And when you're ready, sitting back up onto your heels. One more little move onto hands and knees. Hands maybe a little bit wider than shoulders, and let your tummy muscles soften, let your hips be nice and loose. Tuck your tailbone under, draw your spine up, through your ribs, through your shoulder blades. Let your head nod down, so re-stretch from the spine. And then relax. We're not forcing anything else here, so come back through, allowing the head just to lift. And we are done. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you found it useful. And I shall see you after the holidays back on the mat in the studio.